Hey guys, so today I want to go over some tips for people who are looking for a first guitar, either for themselves or maybe something they're going to get as a gift for someone else. First of all, if you're looking for a first guitar, really the goal should be to get a guitar where the guitar is going to sort of encourage you to play the guitar and to practice more. And what I mean by that is that some guitars are more difficult to play than others. And this is in terms of the amount of strength it takes with your hands and the comfort and that kind of thing. So you want to get a guitar that's going to be easier to play when you're first starting out. Because, anytime you first start something, it's very easy to get discouraged. And you want a guitar that's going to make it easy for you to keep going back to the guitar and playing and practicing more and learning. Now, if we're just talking about the very fundamentals here, there's basically going to be three types of guitars that you're going to run into commonly. First of all, we've got an electric guitar here. Next to it, we've got a classical guitar. This is with nylon strings. And then down here, we've got a steel string acoustic guitar. Now, of course, if you already have an idea of which one you want to play, maybe there's a particular style of music or an artist you really like, and you want to do that style, then go ahead and go with that choice. But if you don't know, if you're looking for a suggestion, I generally recommend that people start with either an electric guitar or a nylon string classical guitar. And actually, I recommend they don't start with a steel string acoustic guitar. The reason for that is the acoustic guitar with the metal strings, that takes the most work and it takes the most strength out of your hands of any of these three guitars. It's also going to be the most painful physically to play when you first start out. Before you've built up the calluses on your fingertips, it can actually be very, very painful to play for a long period of time when you're pressing down on the strings. But an electric guitar is going to have a lighter gauge of strings, so it won't take as much effort to press the strings down. And the same thing goes with the classical guitar, plus the classical guitar has nylon strings, which are plastic essentially, and it's much gentler on your hands. Now, of course, all of these guitars do have a different sound to them, and like I said before, if you want to play a particular style, you should definitely gravitate towards the guitar that's going to allow you to play that style. But just remember that you can play a different style of music on a different guitar. You could play an acoustic track on an electric guitar just on a clean setting, without any distortion or overdrive or something like that. It's not going to sound exactly the same, but you can still learn a song that way. Now, another thing I really want to talk about is how much you should spend on a first guitar. You don't need to spend a huge amount of money. You can easily walk into a guitar shop and spend $1,000 or more on a first guitar and a bunch of accessories. But these days, with all of the advancements in manufacturing and a very robust used market, you can get a really solid guitar for between $200 and $300, even cheaper in some cases. Now, another point to consider when you're looking for a first guitar, when it comes to the acoustic guitars, either a classical or a traditional steel string acoustic, try to get one that's an acoustic-electric. So it's going to have a pickup or some other sort of electronics built into the guitar, which will allow you to plug the guitar in to an amplifier or even a PA or recording interface. These days, this really doesn't add too much expense to the guitar, but it'll allow you to do a lot more with it. Now, when it comes to the electric guitars, something to consider is the type of pickups that it has in the guitar. Now, the pickups is just the part of the guitar that picks up the sound from the strings and sends it out to the amplifier. Now, on a guitar like this is a traditional Stratocaster type guitar. You've got single coil pickups, and they're these kind of long, skinny pickups. These give a nice kind of vintage sound, but they are really bad in terms of feedback on the guitar and adding extra noise like humming noises or interference from outside electronics and so forth. So because of that, when someone gets a first electric guitar, I recommend they get a guitar that has humbucking pickups like this one. These will give a more modern sound, and they will be a lot better in controlling feedback and unwanted noise. When you're starting out, you really want to minimize extra problems that you have to deal with. And let's say you get a guitar and maybe it's easy to play, but because of the pickups you chose, it creates a lot of extra noise and it opens up a whole new slew of hassles that you have to deal with every time you go to play the guitar. You want something simple that you can just plug in and not have any problems with. Now, related to that, there's one more thing to look out for with electric guitars. A lot of the cool heavy metal or shred guitars will have a Floyd Rose type of bridge. This is basically what people think of when they say whammy bar, right? You can do these really cool, crazy noises, and a lot of the classic stuff, Eddie Van Halen, that kind of thing, uses this type of bridge. It gives you some really cool options as far as ways you can express yourself on the instrument, but it does mean that the guitar is going to take a lot more maintenance, and also when you go to change the strings or change the tuning of the guitar, it's going to require some extra adjustments on that bridge. So again, in the interest of simplicity and eliminating frustrations, I recommend you go with a guitar that has a hardtail bridge or a string-through type bridge. These are going to be the most basic and the simplest in terms of maintenance and adjustments on a guitar. Alright guys, so to recap everything we went over, if you're looking for a first guitar, I recommend finding a guitar that's easier to play, and that's going to be ideally either an electric guitar or a nylon string classical guitar. Second, if you do go with an acoustic guitar, either the nylon string classical or a steel string acoustic, you want to look for a guitar that's an acoustic-electric, that has some built-in electronics. This will let you do a lot more with the guitar. On the other hand, if you're getting an electric guitar, look for one that has humbucking pickups, not single coil pickups, as this will really help you out in terms of unwanted noise and feedback. And again, with the electric guitars, I recommend you stay away from a Floyd Rose type bridge and get either a hardtail or string through. And last but most importantly, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a first guitar. There are a lot of common brands like Epiphone or Squier that make really affordable, really great starter guitars. As always guys, I'll put a few links in the video description below with a few specific guitars that I recommend. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.